Welcome to HomeFront SitRep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront SitRep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront SitRep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Battlefield, same damn life. No spotlight shining on the ones who serve. Just great sacrifice and a whole lot of nerve. From small town shops to a helping hand, we're lifting each other, yeah, that's the plan. No red tape, no filter, no disguise. Just truth in the fire behind our eyes. This is HomeFront SitRep. Hear the call, where the real ones rise and the fallen stand tall. Every voice matters, every story's legit. We're family here. This is HomeFront SitRep. From the shadows to the spotlight we step. Yeah, this is HomeFront SitRep. From the scars we carry to the lives we reveal. From the weight of silence to the strength of will. Non-profits grinding, boots on the street. No headlines chasing, just mission complete. Veteran alone, still chasing the dream. From a mic to a message, we're building a team. Creators and fighters, yeah, we all belong. Turn the pain into purpose, turn the hurt into song. No politics, no games, no divide. Just warriors standing side by side. This is HomeFront SitRep. Hear the call, where the real ones rise and the fallen stand tall. Every voice matters, every story's legit. We're family here. This is HomeFront SitRep. From the shadows to the spotlight we step. Yeah, this is HomeFront SitRep. We don't forget, we don't walk away. We carry each other through every day. From combat boots to a boss to a seat. Still standing tall, still hard to defeat. Real stories, real impact, real people. This ain't just a podcast. This is a movement. This is HomeFront SitRep. Loud and clear, for the ones still fighting year after year. Every voice matters, every story's legit. We're family here. This is HomeFront SitRep. Yeah, we rise, we grind, no regret. Welcome to HomeFront SitRep.
Welcome to a Sunday edition of HomeFront SitRep. How is everybody doing? I am doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. Unfortunately, Gunny is in Maine at the present moment in time. They Team Fast Tracks had a jump up there this week. So Gunny is up there and visiting family as well while he's up there. So that's awesome that he gets to spend some time with his mom and brother and nieces and nephews and the rest of the family up there in Maine. I think it's super awesome to spend time with the parental units for sure. And then plus you get to see your brother and nieces and nephews and all that good jazz. So I'm super excited for Gunny to be up there. Troy Stout is watching. What's up, Troy? How are you, sir? Watching from over the great pond. Marie is watching as well. How are you, Marie? Tonight's going to be a great episode. But let's talk about my week. Um, my week has been super chill, really. Not really. I'm joking. So on Wednesday, we moved my youngest kid into college. She's a freshman. And let me tell you, that was an experience. Now, we already had a little bit of experience from our oldest kid that we moved in last year um, for her first year of college. So we kind of knew what to expect. Um, but we moved my youngest in, and let me tell you, my wife and her butted heads crazily. And the funny thing is we had her best friend is her roommate at the college, right? And they were moving their stuff in at the same time we were moving our low stuff in, and they had to leave because my wife and her were butting heads so fiercely. I mean, it was tears were shed that day. Let me tell you. But everybody made up at the end of the day, and now they're best friends again. And then on Friday, we moved my oldest into her college, um, and it was so smooth. Like it was just like I was like, oh man, why couldn't Wednesdays be like this? But anyway, man. And then tonight, the wife, or earlier today, the wife and I got to go to the state fair, and we went up to the military exhibit in the state fair, which Heather French Henry, Miss America 2000, her dad is a Purple Heart veteran, Mr. Ron French from Vietnam, and Heather, Miss America 2000, she's the one that is in charge of military the military exhibit that they have at the state fair every year. So walk in, and she's talking, and I'm just waiting, because I've known Heather for a really long time, and I'm just sitting there waiting, and I wasn't, expecting her to stop what she was doing. And she was just talking with the people that were around her, and then they got done talking, and she came over and gave myself and my wife a hug, and we just talked, and we are going to have her on, but she's super busy with Miss America pageant and everything else. So getting her scheduled to wind down a little bit so we can get her on. It'll probably be September, October timeframe before we can get her on. But if you don't know who Heather French Henry is, you probably need to look her up. She's amazing, and the love and support that she pours into the veteran community is second to none. She's just amazing. And with doing the military exhibit, they highlight female veterans, every era of military veterans in general. But it's super cool to see. And it's kind of like what our guest does tonight. Now, they do something that we talk about here on HomeFront SitRep all the time is remember their names. Because our brothers and sisters out there that paid the ultimate sacrifice, they died twice. They die when they originally die, and then they die when people stop saying their names and remembering who they are and the sacrifice that they made. So tonight we have the Price of Freedom Foundation. And yeah, the Price of Freedom Foundation. Everybody knows freedom is not free. So every name etched into a memorial represents more than a service member who made the ultimate sacrifice. Behind that name was a son or daughter, a friend, a teammate, a spouse, a parent, a life filled with experiences that deserve to be remembered. Like I said, hashtag remember their name. So tonight we sit down with Lieutenant Colonel, Army Lieutenant Colonel Dennis Schroader Sr. For a powerful conversation preserving the complete life stories of America's fallen. Founded in 2019, was created around a simple but important mission: ensure that those who died while serving our nation are remembered not merely for how they died, but for how they lived. And that's the key right there. Not for how they died, but for how they lived. The foundation works alongside Gold Star families, friends, veterans, and fellow service members to research and document the lives of fallen military members. Those memories, photographs, interviews, and personal accounts are transformed into lasting biographies, digital publications, and documentaries that preserve their stories for families and future generations. I think that's so powerful um, in itself, because, like I said, we don't want their sacrifice to be in vain. So, but when we forget them and we forget to say their names, that for me, that's just not what we do. You know, Somebody who's paid the ultimate sacrifice to keep our freedom free. And granted, I know we all, if you're watching this or listening to this, most of us have served in the military, or we have somebody who close to us that served in the military, and we know the sacrifices that we go through just as active duty service members. And then you have the ones that paid the ultimate sacrifice that never come home. And we've had a couple gold star we had one gold star widow, Michelle Black. Her book is up here, which you can't see. It's up here. And then a few others, and just to hear their stories and how tragic, the tragic circumstances behind um, their family members, sacrifice, and how they picked up the pieces and kept marching on, which is something that we do um, in the military anyway. We adapt and we overcome and we continue the mission. Now, granted, sometimes that mission evolves, um, kind of like this podcast. We started out highlighting the mom and pop grassroots nonprofits out there, and then now we've evolved and we bring in veteran singers, veteran authors, veteran comedians, veteran singers. We evolved, but are we still focused on that main mission? And that's kind of why tonight we have Lieutenant Colonel come on and talk about his mission. So that's enough of me running my suck. Are y'all ready to bring our guest on and let the guest talk about himself and his organization? Go ahead, give me the clap. But anyway, without further ado, let's bring him up. Let me go here. How are you?
We're here. All right. I'm very honored to be on your podcast. Thank you so very much. My name is Dennis Schroader Sr. I served in the U.S. Army as a medical service corps officer from June of 1978 until June of 2000. Retired, lived in the Pacific Northwest. 11 years later, the guy that took my place at my retirement job gave me a call and said, "Dennis, would you like to come back?" And I did a 2-year retiree recall at Fort Knox from 2011 to 2013. Loved it. I loved every minute of it. And my growing up years, I was born in 56, so I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and seeing what our nation did to the returning Vietnam era veterans just always upset me. My father was a 20-year Navy man, and I saw the shift happen in the 80s. And I saw I contributed it to 2 movies and a president. The movies were An Officer and a Gentleman, Top Gun is the second one, and President Ronald Reagan. And my own experience of being ignored in public when I was in uniform to being thanked was a sign of that transition. Fast forward to post 9/11, and I'm starting to see articles being written in magazines that I never thought I'd see written, positive articles about people who made the ultimate sacrifice. But every one of them included others that you really only knew by a brief mention. And none of those articles really went, 7, 8, 10 pages in GQ magazine or Esquire. It doesn't tell you the whole story. And it just bothered me. It sat on in my soul for a long time. So 2018, the job that I had after I finished my retiree recall that brought me to Middle Tennessee, where I currently live in a little town called White House, just a half hour north of Nashville. That job went away. And I had been thinking about this whole idea of what can we do to preserve the memories of those who paid that ultimate price. And got a kick in the pants from a colleague of mine who was in the same industry, retired female Marine Corps drill sergeant. So you can get a mental image. And she said, love the idea that what you're doing now, get out there and make it happen. Only she used a few more colorful words than that.
No, not the Marine.
Not a Marine, never. So I started out and I basically said, okay, I prayed about it. I'm a man of faith. I've seen it happen, his hand on my life throughout my life. And anyway, I was using all kinds of excuses to not do anything because I was working, I was traveling. I didn't know anything about any of the stuff that I was wanting to do. And after the job went away, it's like my excuse about not having any time was eliminated. So I said, okay, all right, Lord, I'm going to do what I can with this. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So what we do is we get connected somehow with the families of the fallen. And we tell them that what we want to do is to research their loved one's entire story from the very beginning to the very end, and actually beyond in some cases. And we do that by finding people who knew the loved one during the course of their life. We ask them for their help. We ask them to sit down and do an interview with us. And we'll do as long or as short of an interview as they are willing to do. We ask them for copies of photos, letters, videos, folks that have lived in the current era with social media. We ask for access to their social media accounts so we can pull information from that. We ask the family to help us with getting copies of their military records so we can do some more research there, so we can find the units that they were assigned to and try and reach out to those alumni associations and find more folks than that family knew that knew their loved one, so that we can get a 360-degree view of that person's life. When we have exhausted that kind of research, we hand all of this, we record every interview too. So we hope eventually to be able to turn these into documentaries, and with documentaries you need video, so we're going to use as much as we can of these interviews with that. And so we've produced one book. This is the first book, and this is what we present to the family. So we basically give this to a writer who will take all of that research material, all the photos, all the interviews, etc., and write that person's life story from beginning to end. And when we complete this, then we present this to the family and to everyone who helped us along the way with the interview process, with a free hardbound copy of the book, or multiple copies in the case of the family, so that they not only have that story in its entirety now. Because number one, if you think about this, as we went through this, as we go through this, people learn about things about their loved one that they didn't know, because people that, for example, in my life, I do photography. I've loved photography. So people who knew me in the military didn't really know a whole lot about my life as a photographer. So they get a different flavor when they hear about the folks that knew me as a photographer. So that is, we want to give people that entire story that they can have and they can pass down to future generations. The reason for us wanting to do the documentaries is that USHUS has been doing this ongoing military survivor grief study. And they basically said that I saw some of their research years ago when we were first getting started. And one of most common problems that military survivor families have is the sense that a year or two after their loved one has passed, that they have the sense that outside of that family and small circle of friends, their loved one's forgotten and their sacrifice no longer honored. So how can we address that? At least from my perspective, what we can do is we can tell that person's story, and we can tell it to a larger audience than they can reach, that family can reach, and that we do it on an ongoing basis. So that's why we have the intent to tell this through documentary video, because let's face it, we're in a video-centric world, not a bibliocentric world anymore.
Right.
So, the things that you were talking about in terms of, the small town, the hometown nonprofits, that's, we have a mission, and I have a vision that is so much larger than where we're at right now. But right now, this is mainly funded by myself and a handful of donors that chip in when they can, and we've got less than 10 volunteers all told, with board members and other folks. So we do what we can with what we have, but our commitment is that we are, any family that signs up with us and says, hey, we would like for you to do this for our family, it's like, we're going to stay with it as long as it takes to get that job done for them.
That's awesome. So once the book is completed, like the book that you have in your hand there, is it available for purchase, or is it just something? It is.
It's available for purchase, and it's on. It's published by Palmetto Publishers out of South Carolina. They were the only ones that let us go with a small run of hardbound books. 100 is what their minimum print run was. Every other publisher was 500 or 1,000. And because we promised to give a book to the family, like you'd find in on the books or shelves of Barnes and Noble and the like, a little tidbit about the publishing industry that I didn't know until I did this is that you cannot get a book that has print on one type of paper and photos with captions on glossy paper, print on demand. You have to run it through it can only be done through an offset printer, and that meant using the standard print house. So,
oh man, okay.
Yeah, so now you can get print on demand. The books are available through Amazon and every other online book retailer. If you search for The Price of Freedom Chronicles, you will find this book, Silent Soul. This is the story of Alfonso Aptal Amos, who was born in the Philippines, served time in the Philippine Army before joining the U.S. Navy, met his wife while he was in the Navy. They married, had 3 children. He was a machinist mate, served most of his career on aircraft carriers, and was lost at sea off the deck of the USS Kitty Hawk in October of 1998. And so this is his story. And so this is what we were approached, or what we were connected with one of his daughters, and we basically they had been trying to piece their father's story together for over a year because the youngest of them had 0 memories of their father. She was only like 5 years old when he was lost at sea, and we were able to refocus this on Alfonso rather than on the daughter. And we were able to get the folks that had demurred from providing much information, and we structured a little bit differently, I think, too, so that we were able to help bring that focus there. We were able to get the story together, and we were fortunate that we were able to present this book to that family on the deck of the USS Midway in San Diego 2 summers ago, because it was meaningful to this family, because the Midway was a ship that Alfonso was assigned to twice during his career.
Oh man, okay. So I think I remember that I joined the Marine Corps in 1997, and I did, of course, I was on the Kearsarge, I was on the Fort McHenry, and also the Nassau. I do think I remember hearing something about that, and I think it was sometime in '98 or '99. I think I remember hearing that story,
Yeah.
and that. So when I scour the internet and I look for these mom and pop grassroots nonprofits, right? You're the only one that I can think of that is doing what you're doing, where you're honoring and remembering. Now there is an organization called Honor and Remember,
Yes,
which I don't know if you know who they are, but if
I
you
do.
don't, I can get you connected with the founder. My co-host is really good friends with the Gold Star dad that created Honor and Remember. I think you guys working together
I would
would
love
be
to work together with them. I am familiar with them. There's a number of them. There's Wear Blue, Run to Remember. There's half dozen go through my head, but then I can't speak them.
right. No,
Get
no, I
both.
get it.
But
But
yes, I want my interest is working collaboratively because
yeah,
we can always do more working together than we can working alone. So that's definitely very much appreciated as any kind of introduction. But yes, in fact, when I first started this, I started thinking that, well, gosh, somebody else must be doing this already. I've got some time now. Let me go volunteer and help them. And it's like
right.
outside of individual families. I mean, the Pat Tillman Foundation is the most famous, and they have done a fabulous job for him, and they do a lot for other folks too. There are other families who have done similar research and published something specific about their lost loved one. But as far as I know, as far as I've been able to find in the last 7 years of doing this, there's no one else that's saying, hey, we will do this for anybody. Any
Right.
family wants their loved one's story told. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if certainly what comes to mind are the folks who lose their life in an act of conflict. But I am here to tell you that talking with families of the fallen, the mother and father of a young soldier who dies in a motorcycle accident out at Fort Campbell have just as big of a hole in their heart as the one who died in combat.
Yeah.
So we are basically at this point, we're saying any military related death, whether it's on active duty, if you're a guardsman, reservist, whether you there's a story that we're going to be re-engaging with. We had a mother that wanted us to tell her story that turned out it wasn't quite the right time for her, and now we're going to re-engage with her. But this was a soldier who was medically retired from the Army after a certain number of years, and 2 years following his medical retirement, he died from complications of that condition and the medications that he was on. So, in my mind, that chain of events directly leads to his service. And that's
So basically, so not just ones who made the ultimate sacrifice in a combat situation,
right.
but let's say they were at Fort Campbell, they died during a training accident.
Yes.
It's somebody you want to honor and remember as well and tell their story. So funny, I tagged this guy here, Bobby Walsh Jr. He's an Army veteran himself. He's my next door neighbor right across the street. He's a Gold Star sibling as well. His brother died in a training exercise while on active duty. He would be somebody that I think this would be good for them to tell his brother's story, his life story as well. So
absolutely.
Now, are you planning on? So I know you do Gold Star families. I know you're branching that out to training accidents as well. So not just combat related, but training accidents as well. So what about in the future? Have you thought about the invisible wounds of war? So let's say the Green Star families after service that want to honor and remember their fallen service member.
So yes, actually, I think the families that probably could benefit from this the most are those that are died from suicide. So basically we make no restriction on any type of death. If the person was the victim, there's been far too many soldiers who've been killed by their spouses or things like that. Domestic violence is a huge problem, but soldier suicide has been a big issue. I myself did not make an attempt while I was in the service, but at 17 I was sitting on my parents' bed. House was empty, which was almost never happened. I had my father's pistol to my temple with my finger on the trigger, and it was only a thought, I believe, that came from God asking what I thought my parents' reaction would be. And I was not, to find their son, the oldest son, with his brains blown out all over their bedroom. And I wasn't angry at my parents. I was angry at me. And so I set that down. But I also suffered and struggled with depression and suicidal ideation throughout my entire military career. And I did not seek assistance because I knew, especially as medical service corps officer, I knew that the first thing that would happen is they would suspend my security clearance, which is basically a career killer. And so I was lucky. I was blessed that I was able to make it through that. And I really haven't had any kind of issues with that for about the last 15 years. But I do know how difficult that is. And I do know that many people, I just know it's a special need. And those families need to be honored as well. And so, yes, we will tell any of those stories. My key in the volunteers I work with is we're telling the story truthfully and honorably. Those are the two keys. We're not going to we have no political agendas. I try to stay away from politics because during my time in service, the guys and gals that I served with were all kinds of different political views, right? Every person who took that oath, said, hey, I'm willing to pay whatever it costs, even up to the point of giving my life. And so it could have been you, could have been me that we're talking about here. So that's what that's my goal. That's what drives me. That's what keeps me at this, even when I have stumbling blocks like a torn rotator cuff that I had surgery on in June, and two back surgeries over the last 3 years. It's like, I'm just not going to stop doing this because these families deserve to have their loved one remembered.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, sorry to hear about the rotator cuff and everything else that you got going on right now. I would agree with you 100%. The stories, regardless, if they fell in combat, whether they fell during a training accident, whether they fell from invisible wounds of war, which everybody, like you said, everybody don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about it.
Right.
You just sat there and said you dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts throughout your career. And I think a lot of service members have those thoughts at one point in their career. And some take action on that, some don't take action on that. And it's just, I believe that, and I'm sure my co-host would probably agree with me 100% if he was here, that we have to remember their sacrifice.
Yes.
Here, too many veterans, they say 22, and I'm gonna throw that in quotation mark. We know that number's higher. Unfortunately, they don't ask for help because, like you said, we feel like we would get sidelined. And I will tell you right now, myself personally, it's hard for me to ask for help. Even now, I've been with my wife 20 something plus years. Be 21 years married, 20. I think we've been together for 25, somewhere around. But we've been married for 21 years, and it's hard for me to even ask her for help when my military career was like don't ask for help, don't ask for help, don't ask for help. Don't go to sick call, don't do this, and even now it's really hard for me to ask for that help, right?
Right.
But now here we have a organization that is wanting to honor and remember um, our fallen brothers and sisters out there.
Right.
So if somebody says, all right, I want to donate to this organization because I want to help fund the next story,
Right.
how can somebody get a hold? How can somebody donate?
But through our website, www.priceoffreedomfoundation.org. That is exactly where you go. We've got a donate now button on pretty much every page. And certainly we welcome and will absolutely use your donations to specifically work towards these, towards telling these stories. Right now, we've got a special fundraiser because I'm trying to get to the MIC, the Military Influencer Conference. I don't know if you're familiar with that group and that organization. They're meeting next month down in Tampa. And it's a great, I went there last year at their conference in Atlanta, so it's a little bit easier for me to get there. And I just think that that's a great time to gather together because at that point they had 2,000 people in attendance, and it was I'd say 99% of them were fellow veterans, and it's like there was just something powerful about just that by itself. Anyway, the cost for me to get there is a little bit higher than I have personal funds to take care of for this year, so that we have a special fundraiser on that, and those are. We have a presence on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, under the Price of Freedom Foundation, and you'll see videos and the GoFundMe appeal on that, on those platforms if somebody wants to help with that.
And I'm still trying to locate lodging for you as well.
Yes,
I'm still working on that. I'm hoping one of my veteran friends from Tampa will say, "Hey, I can put Lieutenant Colonel up for a week while he's down here." If not, I'll reach out to some non-military friends and say, "Hey, I got a Lieutenant Colonel that's coming down for a conference. It would it be possible if he stays at your place?"
That would actually be an awesome thing, because the vast majority of the cost is in the lodging.
So your friend Marie, our mutual friend, she's down here saying the Price of Freedom is also looking for volunteers to help with consolidating the interviews, editing, and other ways to help move the mission along.
Absolutely.
Marie is awesome. I love Marie.
I love her. I haven't met her in person. We've met through her podcast, and I look forward to meeting her face to face, and yourself too one of these days, because you're right. She is awesome. She truly is. She is right. We absolutely can use a lot of help in very specific areas. So researching, I got a couple of folks that have volunteered to be researchers, but they are not military. They do not have military backgrounds currently. And when you're familiar with military jargon and what unit designators mean, it makes it a whole lot simpler and easier for you to know where to go next, to say, okay, this person was assigned to this unit during this time frame. Let's find that alumni, that group of people that were with that unit, and ask if anybody knew that person during that time frame. It just makes it simpler to do that research. For our first story, we have about 44 hours worth of video, interviews, home videos, the old VHS tapes that the Navy made of the memorial services that they held for him. Let's face it, that doesn't make for a great documentary, 44-hour documentary, right? No. Nobody's going to sit through that, not even the family. So what we really need to make that step to create documentaries is somebody who is in essence a filmmaker, somebody who who has the sense of what the story is. We've got the book written, so they've got sort of a blueprint that they can use. But as we all know, transitioning from book to video it's not a straight line kind of thing, but can take all of that we've got and then to kind of cut and splice and dice, whatever, to be able to tell that story in video form. And the people who have that skill and that ability is there's a reason that they charge what they do. And the lowest cost estimate I've received is about $30,000. Most folks that are working actively in that industry in the Nashville area, I've had 3 conversations with 3 different attorneys and 2 different filmmakers, all say should count on $100,000 to $150,000 per hour of produced documentary. And I was like,
yeah, that's so. I just tagged Nick Pomasino. He's in that industry, film and all of that. I just tagged him, and hopefully he'll watch this later or something, and maybe he'll reach out and say, "Hey, I can help you." Maybe we'll see. We don't know.
We never know. We're just like and like I said, all of these things were total unknowns to me. So I don't expect people who were like I was. I was just living my life, doing my thing, and it's like so. I had most folks have no idea how much time it takes and how much money it costs to do video production.
I will tell you, I do. What's up?
No, you do. But
what's going on, Gilbert? How are you, sir? It takes a lot. So, like before we started doing live episodes, we did recorded episodes, and I tell you, it's painstaking. Like we were doing 2-hour lives, and then it would take 3 or 4 hours just to go in and edit those, or recorded, and then we go in 2 to 3 hours to edit afterwards. And it's just like, it was taking up a whole day pretty much. And then we decided, let's just do lives, screw editing, because it's too painstaking to do. But hopefully we can connect you with the right people. And then, because I really love your mission, and I'm sure Gunny, if Gunny was here, he'd love your mission as well. He actually just commented he's watching somewhere in Maine right now. So I just want to give him a big shout out for coming on and just talking anyway, since he's in here. But man, so if you want to donate, if you want to volunteer, any of that, go to priceoffreedomfoundation.org. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, or it's in chat as well, because I put it in there just a few minutes ago. You can click on that. You hit the donate button to go donate. If you want to volunteer, I'm sure there's a section on there to contact a lieutenant colonel here. And if you have a family member that has paid the ultimate sacrifice, whether you're a Gold Star widow, mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever, and you want their story to be remembered, also go on there and say, hey, contact them, say, hey, I got this, my brother, my sister, whoever, and we would love their story to be memorialized, because that's pretty much what you're doing. You're memorializing a patriot, a veteran, a service member that paid the ultimate sacrifice. So I think I love your mission, and I'm going to do whatever I can to help you guys continue your mission. So
I appreciate that very much. Absolutely. One of the things that I also recognize the value of, and that is when I've been doing interviews for these stories that we're compiling, and I'm talking with a veteran who knew the fallen. We were basically asking them to, tell about Alfonso. Tell us about Alfonso. How do you know him? But in doing so, they have to talk about themselves as well. And in every case thus far, that veteran has come away with a better place, emotionally, in some cases spiritually, because number one, they're honoring, they're paying tribute to a fallen comrade. And it's like there's always something significant about doing that. And so, and number two, though, by telling them, because of this is what you're doing, is that there is value in asking somebody and giving them a platform to tell their story. And so you also know as well as I do, I'm certain that a lot of our fellow veterans are reticent. It's like, oh, I didn't really do anything special, et cetera. I'm not telling that story anyway is important, in my opinion. And so one of the things that we have always accepted and welcomed and encouraged, we haven't formalized it yet because I'm not really sure how best to do that. But any veteran who's listening to this, if you have a comrade who paid that ultimate price and you want to pay tribute to them, either, and you can do this any way you want, create your own video, just say, hey, this is me, this is the person that I knew, and then say whatever you want to say about them. Or you can contact us and we can set up and do, a call like this and record it, etc. However you want to do it. And we will put that out on our social media platforms. We'll keep them collected too, because I want somehow to do something more with this, but I'm really not clear right now on exactly the best way to do that, because we want to honor the veteran paying tribute and the person that they're paying tribute to. So that's another thing that the individuals who out there who may be in that situation can say, hey, I'm not the brother of the not the blood brother of the person who fell, but I was in the band of brothers with them when he did, and they want to pay tribute.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. No, I'm super, super excited about that and your mission, and I can't wait to see how we can help you. And like I said, I'm going to talk with Gunny and say, hey, let's see if we can get him linked up with the Gold Star father from Honor and Remember.
Yes.
Because I think that would be a beautiful partnership just between the two of you guys.
I agree.
And if I can get you in touch with other people like Nick Palmasino or Hollywood Hurd is a Navy veteran. He's also into in the film area out there in Hollywood. That's why Hollywood Hurd. I want to say he was a high-ranking Navy officer. I can't remember. He was in the Navy as well. So he actually helped direct Pirates of the Caribbean.
Cool.
One of those movies. I forget which one, but he was. Which I could reach out to his. I got his phone number, so I might say, hey, have you ever heard of this organization here, and see what he says. But
Cool.
But I'm super excited, man. To have you on here, sir, and talk about you and your organization and what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
So, but it is about that time of night. Are you ready for rapid fire?
I am.
Let's do it. All right, let's end this. All right, let's do. All right, here we go. And I'm gonna wrong one. Wrong one. Let's do it here. All right, I'm gonna put you full screen. So
okay,
there we go. All right, rapid fire questions. Here we go. All right, first one's gonna be easy. Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee. Love coffee.
Awesome. All right, next one. Would you rather be Army or Marines?
Army. I had that choice. I chose Army.
I had to throw that one in there. All right, next one. Favorite military movie?
Oh gosh, I'll have to say Officer and a Gentleman.
That's a good movie. Really, really good movie. All right, next one. Best MRE and worst MRE.
Gosh, it's been so long. I forgot them. I don't remember. It's been 20-some years.
All right, we'll go to the next question. Best duty station.
Had to be Triple Army Medical Center in Honolulu.
Ooh, awesome. All right. Worst duty station.
I'd say Fort Stewart, Georgia, Camp Swampy was my first duty station, and mostly because I had a bad attitude.
All right. This one will get you. Officer meeting or dental appointment. Which would you rather attend?
Well, I had to attend both. So, actually, I'd probably say the officer meeting because I'm familiar with them and I navigated those all right.
Awesome. All right. If you could talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you tell him?
Oh my gosh, that's not an easy one to answer because it's like I was in the midst of all that mental mess. I would basically say, you're okay. You're okay as you are now. You're going to be okay in the future. Don't worry so much.
I love it. All right. 2 more. Beer, bourbon, or sweet tea?
Bourbon.
Ooh.
I'm near bourbon country and love it. So
I'm in bourbon country. I was born and raised in Bardstown, Kentucky, where 90% of the bourbon is made. So we're close.
Yeah.
All right.
We are really close.
Let's see. All right. I guess that's the last one. And for some reason, I put that one twice. So
Okay.
let's do this. Let's go back to this screen. All right. Let's turn the rapid fire off. Oh, I better turn that off too.
If you have a moment, I'll tell you an interesting story about bourbon and why that is. So, I said I had the choice between Army and Marine Corps. My father was career Navy. I wanted to go Blue Water Navy. I was in the Sea Cadets in high school, and I sailed aboard a destroyer escort from Seattle to Anchorage and back. Attended a boot camp. Attended a Navy firefighting school. I wanted Blue Water Navy. And I did really great in high school grade-wise. So my dad said, go be an officer if you can. So I applied for ROTC scholarships and I took my physical exams, and turned out I had a problem with color vision tests. It's like I'd never done that before. Navy came back and said, congratulations, son, 4-year scholarship offer. However, caveat, because you are colorblind, you must take the Marine Corps option. And the Army came back and they said they didn't care. They offered me the scholarship with no restrictions and the like. So in my 18-year-old mindset, it's like, okay, the world has come to an end. My Blue Water Navy dreams are completely squashed. I went out and I said, the answer to this is I'm going to go with my buddies. We're going to get drunk. I'm going to pass out. That was the idea. So me and a couple of guys had a half gallon of vodka on like a Friday night, and we were at his parents' place and they were gone, and we sat and we drank that half gallon of vodka, and I was nowhere. I was about as close to being passed out then as I am now, which is not at all. One of the friends brought out a small bottle of scotch, and he mixed up a couple of scotches and waters. I had a single sip of that, and I spent the rest of that night and most of the next day puking my guts out. So what does the mammalian part of my brain remember? Does it remember all that vodka? No, it remembers that one sip of scotch, that burnt brown whiskey. For the next 28 years or something like that, every time I saw or smelled any kind of whiskey or bourbon or any brown alcohol, I had this visceral desire to throw up. And it changed when I was at my in my retiree recall at Fort Knox, when the officers that I was with would go out and say, hey, we're going to go do the bourbon trail. So we'd go out, visit 2 or 3 in a day, one weekend a month. And I would go with them. It was fun. But at the end you have that tasting, right? So at the very end, I didn't want to be the person that didn't take a taste, right? And I was choke it down and try not to throw up.
Oh man!
4 months into this, I didn't have that response anymore, and in fact, it became my favorite. It became my favorite.
So I grew up smelling the sour mash, them cooking this sour mash every morning. I mean, I lived so close to the distillery that the ash would be on the cars every morning, so you'd have to clean it off. But I smelled bourbon every day.
Mhm.
And then when I got old enough, and I say old enough, I wasn't 21 yet, but I was
Right.
old enough. Bourbon was my drink of choice.
Mhm.
Jim Beam was probably my favorite at the time. And I would, partake on the weekends when I wasn't in school. We'd go to a friend's house. I would partake on Jim Beam. I remember one night where I had a bottle of Jim Beam Black, Johnny Walker Black,
Mhm.
very different, very different. Scotch bourbon,
Yes.
Scotch bourbon. That was the night I almost didn't survive.
Mhm.
Let's just go with that part. But I did kind of slow down, and then I joined the Marine Corps, and I actually had quit drinking for a little while before I turned 21. And then once I turned 21 and my first wife, I caught her cheating on me, uh, that just spiraled out of control. And I was drinking quite heavily. And luckily that I had a really great chain of command at the time. They sent me through detox, and I didn't lose rank, didn't lose pay, because I didn't do anything stupid. They're like,
Right.
"Hey, we think you have a problem. It's time to help you out." And I was like, "Yes, I have a problem." Of course, I was going through a divorce because I was one of those young dumb Marines that married a local from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I caught her cheating on me with the Navy guy. So thank you for not joining the Navy. But I went down that rabbit hole, and of course, my wife and I, I got after going through detox, I didn't touch alcohol for a really, really, really long time. And I will tell you, the wife and I've been together for over 20 years, and she's seen me drunk twice in 20 years.
Yeah.
Normally I will drink two or three and then call it quits because I know
Right.
if I don't, I'm going to slide down that slope again because it's what I've always done.
Right.
And, but now it's, two or three drinks and I'm done. So, but I do want to say thank you for coming on and hanging out with me here on Homefront SitRep and telling your story. And I'm going to get you connected with the people that I think would be great for you and your organization because I
Absolutely.
think what you're doing needs to be done on a widespread
Yes.
movement.
This is a vision that is nationwide and actually worldwide.
Yeah.
Um, there are literally many hundreds of stories that need to be told every single year.
Oh, I would agree with you 100%. And uh, if I can help you in any way to help further and continue your mission, I'm down for it. So
I appreciate
I know Gunny. I think Gunny's still watching. Gunny, we need to get into in contact with the Honor and Remember, the Gold Star father, the Gold Star family there at Honor and Remember, the founder. I think that they would be a great partnership. So we'll talk about that offline, Gunny.
Yeah.
But sir, I want to say thank you again for coming on, hanging out with me for this hour. It's been amazing. It went by really, really quickly. Um, we're going to have you back on eventually with Marie
Sure.
because I know she's got something in works with you. So
Yes.
we're going to kind of talk about that and what it means to her
Absolutely.
to have you continue that story there that she wants to share.
Right.
So I do want to say thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's truly an honor. And God bless you. And if there's anything we can do to help you, we will absolutely 100% will.
Yes, sir. And you're not too far from me. I mean, you're about 2 hours away from me.
I get up to E-Town pretty. In fact, I'll be up there this coming weekend. So
Okay. Well, so E-Town is about 45 minutes from me. So
right.
if you know where Bardstown is,
I do know where Bardstown is. Yes.
I'm about 20 minutes north of that, in between Louisville and
Yeah.
Bardstown. So we'll have to get together, my friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, my friend. Well, I'm gonna drop you in the green room if you got to go because I know you're.
I do. I got to close up the shop here. So
Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, you have a great night.
all right. You too. God bless.
All right, bye-bye. How cool was that? Let's go. No, this one. How cool was that, guys? I think that was super cool. So if you don't know who the Price of Freedom Foundation.org, you need to go check it out. Price of Freedom Foundation.org. We talk about it here on Homefront SitRep all the time to honor and remember and you know our service members that paid the ultimate sacrifice, even our veterans, out there that are dealing with invisible wounds of war and then they lose their battle. Their stories need to be remembered as well. Um, so I think the Price of Freedom, I think the Price of Freedom Foundation is something that needs to be done. I don't know why it hasn't been done before now. Thank you, Gilbert. Thank you, Marie. Um, Man, that makes you wonder why it hasn't. Now, granted, I know the high profile veterans out there, you know, Pat Tillman and all of these high profile veterans out there, their stories are told, but that's because their families do that. But here you got a guy, Lieutenant Colonel, Army, retired, 24 years, 24 years in the military. Now his mission is to honor and remember our brothers and sisters out there that paid the ultimate sacrifice, whether and then and then he evolved. Now he's also talking about doing training if you were a Gold Star non-combat that Gold Star. So if you're training accident or something of that nature, died on active duty, you know, in a car wreck or whatnot. And then he's also going to eventually do Green Star families as well and tell that story of that veteran. Dude, that's freaking powerful. That is so powerful. Man, if I can help in any way, I'm going to. So let's see what we can do. Go donate to the Price of Freedom Foundation.org. Click on that donate now. Donate $1, donate $10. Don't donate whatever you can to help continue the mission because I think it's well worth the mission. But it is that time of night, and I hate this time of night. I really do. I wish I didn't have time constraints, but I do, unfortunately. Um, I can't say it like Gunny does, but man, don't let your dark days win. Somebody out there loves you and they want you here tomorrow. So don't let your dark days win. And remember, in the silence of your struggles, remember, though unseen, you are deeply held in the hearts of others. You're not alone. The uniform may come off, but the bond remains. And together we heal. Together we rise. And together we carry each other forward. God, the key word there is together. We have to do this together, people. We just have to. Hashtag be someone stranger. Listen, ladies and gents, we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So be someone stranger today. And what I mean by that is if you're out and about and you see somebody and it looks like they're having a bad day, go up to them and say, hey, how are you doing today? And if they give you the red flags, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there, I'm living the dream, ask the next hard question. How are you really doing? And be ready for that conversation. It could be a 5-minute conversation. It could be an 8-hour conversation. You just have to be ready for it. All right, Gunny, we'll see you tomorrow, brother. So ask the next hard question and just listen. Sometimes we just need to get it out. We don't need somebody to fix us. We just need to get it out. And then it takes a village. And I just said this a while ago up here, together. We all have our village right here. This is a village. Homefront SitRep is your village. It takes us all to make sure that we all live to see another day. And we have to be able to see the signs. But man, we're here for you. Marie's here for me. Gunny's here for me. You're here for me. Every Sunday, Monday, when you come back and you watch Homefront SitRep, you're here for me and I'm here for you. That's what we do this for. This is my therapy. I will tell you, this has helped me tremendously in the last 3.5 years. I've been able to talk more about my story since I started this podcast. So it takes a village. All right, up next, I'm going to talk about our community partners. We got some great partners, and I say partners, not sponsors, because they are our partners. Another great nonprofit is sofmissions.org, which stands for Shield of Faith Missions. So check out sofmissions.org. This organization right here, man, when it comes to nonprofits, veteran nonprofits, the mom and pop grassroots nonprofits out there, they are top tier. And what I mean by that is the care that you get when you go to their retreat down in Tampa. It's 5 days. You're down there. You feel like you belong as soon as you get there. Like as soon as you meet the first person that's part of this organization, you feel like you belong. And then while you're there, everything is catered around you. So yes, Damon and SOF Missions is phenomenal. When you're there, everything's catered to you except for the group settings. When you're in your group, what's going on, Brander over there on TikTok world? When you're there, you have your group setting, then you have your individual stuff. So your massage therapy, your chiropractor, your mental health, your you name it. They put you through this clinic while you're there, and the level of care that you get afterwards. No nonprofit out there that I know of has 365 days of aftercare. So once you leave the organization, if you need supplements or if you need to find a chiropractor back home, or if you need to find massage therapy, whatever, they will help you find that. And if your insurance doesn't cover, they will help pay for it. I met with the golf instructor that they had, Coach Bob, down there. And if you want to continue golf lessons afterwards, they will help pay for that back home. For 365 days, ladies and gents. There's no other organization that I can think of that does that. And they'll send emails, phone calls, 30, 60, 90, 6 months. We're 6 months out. And they, man, top tier. So check out sofmissions.org. Up next is heroesmediagroup.com. Like I said, this last few episodes, if you're the praying type, pray for Adam Bird and his family at Heroes Media Group. Don't want to say what it is. That's not my story to tell. But if you're the praying type, pray for Adam and his family. But Adam has built heroesmediagroup.com, and let me tell you, he's awesome. We've been part of HMG now for over 3 years, and I can't speak highly enough of Adam and what they do for us here at Homefront SitRep and also other veteran podcasts out there. So check out heroesmediagroup.com. Up next is Reese Across America Radio. Homefront SitRep has been now on Reese Across America Radio for probably about 2.5 years, I would assume. Every Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. You can find us on reacheacrossamerica.org/radio, or you can download the TuneIn app, Odyssey app, or the iHeartRadio app and search the word Reese, and you can listen to all the great shows that they have on Reach Across America Radio. Or just go to Reach Across America and donate for a wreath to lay on our veterans, our brothers and sisters out there at these national cemeteries. A lot of wreaths don't get placed because they don't have the funding. And they do support local nonprofits. So If you got a local nonprofit in your area and you want to help support that nonprofit, you can buy a wreath, and $5 from that wreath goes to that nonprofit. So go check out wreathsacrossamerica.org/radio, and listen to HomeFront SitRep on there Thursday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. Up next is sameflagsameoath.com. Sameflagsameoath.com. Let me tell you, this shirt they made for me. That shirt they made for me. These shirts that I'm getting ready to put up on the screen are available to buy. So you got our Marine It Down, which is our first shirt that we ever had. Marine It Down. Co-branded shirt. We get 25% of each sale. We donate that to a local nonprofit, or one of these nonprofits that we've had on. We donate that money to them. Up next is the Spicy Pineapple. On the back of that, it says Toss and Join People's Life since 1918, because we know they no longer use that. Then you got your HomeFront SitRep shirt. You got your Red Friday shirt. Remember everyone deployed. Hashtag You're Not Alone and hashtag Be Someone Stranger. So go to HomeFrontSitRep.com, click on merch, and you can see that there. Let's do this. All right, up next. I love this one. And if Gunny was here, he'd be like, because he's got an elite engraving problem. So check out eliteengraving24.com. I do have a commercial for them, so let's play that commercial.
Army grit and Air Force pride, crafted with precision every time. From hats to awards, your brand will shine. Elite engraving, one of a kind. Elite engraving, made with pride. Veteran armor on your side. Custom gifts and branding done right. Elite engraving, precision in every line.
So yeah, check out eliteengraving24.com. Small veteran-owned company, husband and wife duo up in Campbellsburg, Kentucky. They do phenomenal work. Anything that can be laser engraved, they do. And she's getting ready to be able to do challenge coins as well. So check out eliteengraving24.com. That's eliteengraving24.com. All right, up next is Valor Coins and Pins. This is Brent and Brian Casey, the grandsons of the late, great Medal of Honor recipient Herschel Woody Williams. Marines Marine, they created Valor Coins and Pins to help fund the Herschel Woody Williams Foundation, which puts Gold Star monuments around the country for the Gold Star families. 10%, or I forget what percentage, goes to the Woody Williams Foundation from Valor Coins and Pins. So if you need a coin made or a pin made or a patch made, contact valorcoinsandpins.com. Brent is a Army veteran. Yeah, he's Army, I believe. So check out valorcoinsandpins.com. Up next, I'm gonna have to take my shoes off. Valor is RDC Shoes. Hold on one second. RDC Shoes is a Marine Corps veteran, Darren Davis. Created, him and his family created RDC Shoes. And man, let me tell you, I love my RDC Shoes Patriots, which is this shoe here. This thing is so friggin' comfortable. I love this shoe. This is the Patriot. This is just the RDC shoes, as you see there. Got the red tongue, red and white tongue, the gold eyelet there to remember Gold Star families is right there. This shoe, let me tell you, I love my RDC shoes. I wear them. I went to the fair earlier today, and I wore these. It's got so many compliments on it. So check out rdcshoes.com. Last but not least, HomeFrontSitRep.com is our website. You could see all of these great veteran nonprofits, veteran authors, veteran business owners, everything on HomeFrontSitRep.com. I will be updating it hopefully soon because it does need to be updated. There's a lot of organizations that we've had on that we haven't put on there. So we need to update it a little bit. But yeah, check out HomeFrontSitRep.com. Let's see. And then if you haven't been to DC yet, go up there, check, or go to monument250.usaa360.com. And you can actually find your name on the memorial website, or the memorial that they have at the Lincoln Memorial. You can actually do it on the internet, and you can find your name on there, or you know, a relative's name, or whoever you're searching, a fallen brother, sister, you can find their name on there. So check out monument250.usaa360.com. But ladies and gents, it is that time of night. Tomorrow, let me bring that up. So tomorrow we're going to have Stephen Page with VT3C, which is, let's see, let's go back. Stephen Page is an Army veteran, founder of VT3C Venom Tactical Techniques and Training and Consulting, for a conversation about his journey from military service to building a mission focused on preparedness, awareness, training, and empowering people with practical skills. He served in the Army as a 35 mic human intelligence collector, including a deployment in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. His military career placed him in an environment where understanding people, gathering information, evaluating situations, and maintaining situational awareness weren't simply professional skills, they could directly affect the mission. He's also into martial arts, Olympic Taekwondo, along with judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, man, come back tomorrow. Check out our episode tomorrow with Venom Tactical. Nice. Marie said he's doing live series on our show, doing emergency prayer. That's awesome, Marie. That is super cool. So, yeah, come back tomorrow. And then on, is it Wednesday this week? Yes. Wednesday of this week, we have our Tip of the Spear Veterans Roundtable. That's cool, Marie. That is awesome. Which will end a live Stop the Bleed class at Cache Coffee in Logan on November 14th. That's super cool. And then on the 26th, we had the Tip of the Spear Veterans Roundtable. And then we got 2 episodes, the 30th and 31st. So we have Stephanie Settles from Paris, Kentucky. We'll get to talk about what she's doing. And then Ed Hinman, Marine, who wrote a book. And I don't know if I had that down here yet. So that rounds out our August. And then we'll be scheduling for September. Super excited. But other than that, it's that time of night, my friends. Y'all have a great night. And like we always say on HomeFront SitRep, stay safe out there. We got your 6. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront SitRep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.